Bookish Babes, and welcome to my book nook. For those that are new around here, the name's Rainy Barton. I'm an elementary music teacher. I also read all types of books. Thriller, horror, fantasy, romance, nonfiction, all the stuff. So if you're interested in that, stay tuned. Alright, so in today's video, I am bringing you a giant birthday book haul because yesterday was my birthday. Well, not yesterday. When you see this video, it'll have been 5 days after my birthday. My birthday was Tuesday, July 12th. And as I'm filming this, yesterday was my birthday. And I unfortunately had COVID on my birthday, and I couldn't go anywhere on my birthday. I'm just now on the day where I'm not contagious anymore and I could go out in the world. And so what I am about to show you is all the books that I have acquired in July, my birth month, and most of them were acquired within the last 24 hours from either my mom, who got me a bunch of books, because bless her, she's great, and myself, because I got a lot of money from a lot of people. Did I spend all of my birthday money on this? No. I saved a lot of it for school clothes to like get more teacher clothes, but I spent a lot of money. And so I have a lot of books to share with you. I have all of these books, there's more hiding, to share with you in this haul. I made out like a bandit, quite honestly. I just went into my local thrift store in town and just like stole a bunch of books. I didn't steal them. I bought them. But I also sold some books to them and got money. I've been selling books on Pango and making money. In fact, there's a couple books that are coming on their way to me from Pango that I need to remember to mention. In fact, I'll probably mention those first before I forget. But I've categorized it as well as I can. And so we are just going to go category by category. And I'm not really going to tell you what they're about because we'd be here forever, but I'm just going to tell you like whether I'm super excited to read it soon or whether I want to get to it at some point. But yeah, and then also with this birthday per call, I got this new shirt. It was speaking to me. I just love it. I'm here for it. So let's talk books. So we're going to start with all of the books that I bought before this book haul. No, we're going to start with the Pango books because I said I was going to do that so that I don't forget. So there are currently 3 on their way to me from Pango Books. And I got Saving Noah by Lucinda Berry because I loved The Perfect Child by her. And I'm trying to collect all of her books. I think she has 4 or 5. And so that was one that Haley said was really good, but it was disturbing. So that's on its way to me. Pack Up the Moon by Kristen Higgins is on its way to me. That is a romance that my friend, the Bookish Mama, Allison, has been recommending on her channel. And so I decided I wanted it. And then, what was the other one? I think it was called Simply Wild by K.A. Tucker, I believe, or I could be butchering this author's name. The Simply Wild, the first book, because I've been wanting that for a minute. And so those 3 are on their way to me currently. And then this little stack is books that I have bought either for book clubs or book of the month. And then I have my nonfiction, 2 nonfiction that I picked up this week. So let's talk about it. All right. First I have The Violence by Delilah Dawson. I'm currently reading this. I'm only about 6 pages in. For Haley Hughes Pretty Queens book club. And yeah, this is like a 500-page book. It's about a girl or like a virus that's going around through mosquitoes that like makes you get into a rage and kill people, and this woman who's getting abused is going to use that to her advantage to like get back at her husband. Anyway, I'm excited to read it, but yeah, I got this. And then another book club for my local book club, what we are reading this month is You Made a Fool of Death with Your Beauty by Akwaeke Emezi. I've never read an Akwaeke Emezi book. I'm so excited to read from them. I believe their pronouns are them because I'm pretty sure they're non-binary. But yeah, this is just a very sad love story about a young woman seeking joy while healing from the loss of like her last partner. I'm pretty sure they like passed away. And I've heard this is really funny because I just watched Booked and Busy's vlog where she read this, and she said this was one of her favorite books of the year. So that gives me a lot of hope. Then from Book of the Month itself, I got 3 books this month. I got You're Invited by Amanda Giatisa, which Allison, the Bookish Mama, just read this and said that it was not as good as she was expecting. So I'm a little bit sad about that. But it's just another one of those like, and then there were none kind of settings basically where this woman's getting married in Croatia or some crazy place, Sri Lanka, and one of them gets murdered there and they blame her, and so like she has to prove that she didn't do it. I mean, I think the bride is marrying her ex-boyfriend. I don't know, something like that, but I'll get to it at some point. Then we have The House Across the Lake by Mr. Riley Sager. I'm not going to say much about this, and I'm not going to say what I thought of it because I finished it. And if you saw on Instagram, It was a 2-star, and I'm not going to talk further about it because I do have a vlog coming out later where I talk much, much more about my thoughts on this book. But there's that. And then I also got The It Girl by Ruth Ware. I am very excited about this. We are reading this in August for Gabby's book troop pick. My mom said that the synopsis sounds almost exactly like her book, The Lying Game, already, so I hope she's not recycling her own content. I guess we'll see, but that's where we got that. And then the 2 nonfiction that I picked up for a steal of a deal. One was Unmasked, My Life Solving America's Cold Cases by Paul Holes. So I believe this is the detective who found the Golden State Killer. He has uncovered some of America's toughest cold cases and like solving crime, and this is his memoir. I am really excited to read this. I have heard nothing but fantastic stuff about this. I don't really know a lot about him. Like, I feel like I do, but like I don't, like, I mean, I don't know people in the crime world, but I'm sure when I read this, I'll go, oh yeah, I remember that case, and I remember this, and I remember that, because I am really interested in this sort of stuff, so I'm very excited to hopefully get to this super soon. Then we have Becoming by Michelle Obama. I have been wanting this book for freaking ever, and I've been waiting for it to go on sale, and it never goes on sale, and especially at like one of my thrift stores, it's been like 20 bucks for forever, and I was like, I don't want to spend 20 bucks. Got it for $6. Hold out and things will come in good time to you. So yeah, I've wanted to read her book. I want to listen to her audiobook too, but I really wanted, I wanted the actual physical book as well. So finally got it. Up next, let's go with my like contemporary / I don't know what to categorize these books stash. So let's do that next. So up first, I got The Glass Hotel by Emily St. John Mandel. I have heard that you should read this and Station 11 before you read her newest book, Sea of Tranquility, which is an anticipated read this year for me. I just haven't picked it up yet, but that's why I picked this one up. And this one, let's see. There's a lot of stuff going on in this. I'm not going to really explain it because, like I said, we'd be here forever. But I'm super excited that I picked this one up. I'm going to hopefully read this and Station 11 super duper soon. And then I also picked up Mr. Penumbra's 24-Hour Bookstore. This one, the cover just spoke to me, and apparently it said it was book 1 of like a series, but this was written in 2012 and the author has not written a sequel, so I don't really think there's going to be a sequel. But yeah, this one, you know, is about a bookstore, and a magical bookstore, I assume, which of course, like, that's intriguing. Gotta love it. Live to love it. So, excited for that. Then, I was really excited when I saw this one because I know Riley Marie really enjoyed this book. I know Katie Colson tried to read it and didn't really care for it, so we'll see. And I think Gabby didn't like it either. Hench by Natalie Zena Walshots. So this one is like a fun one where I think the girl gets mad because she does stuff for people and all of a sudden like the superhero ends up like getting her injured, and she starts to think that superheroes do more bad than good because they always like end up leaving destruction in their midst, and like everybody like just lets them get by with it because they're heroes. And so I think she is trying to sue superheroes or something to that extent. I don't really know, but heard it's good, and I'm very, very stoked to get to this soon. Then at some point within the last like week or so, I picked up The Island of Missing Trees by Elif Shafak. This one I've been seeing circling around on Bookstagram. I don't know why I keep picking up books like this because I'm not really like a huge contemporary fiction person. I'm a thriller and like romance person, but I don't know. This one was speaking to me. This one, it says it's about belonging and identity, love and trauma, nature and revival. It's about 2 teenagers, a Greek Cypriot and a Turkish Cypriot. That's a lot of stuff. A lot of pretty stuff. But yeah, I don't know. It's on Reese's Book Club. So, you know, it's probably got to be good. Another one in that vein was The Tobacco Wives by Adele Myers. I don't know. I saw this and I just thought I had to have it. Did I really? And also it has the speckled or bedeckled, whatever you call this. The speckled, bedeckled edges, whatever you call it. This one is a historical debut set in 1946 North Carolina following a young seamstress who uncovers dangerous truths about big tobacco. I do know someone that read this in real time though and said that this was actually really good. So, you know, maybe I will read these in the same setting. Who knows? Then I've been really excited to get this. I keep wanting to get it for Book of the Month, and then I fill my Book of the Month card up with something else, and that is Black Cake by Charmaine Wilkerson. I got this for even less than you would get it on Book of the Month. I got it for $5. Super excited about that. This one just looks so good. I've heard multiple people talking about it. This one just says, it's a story of how the inheritance of betrayals, secrets, memories, and even names can shape relationships and history. It's an extraordinary journey through the life of a family changed forever by the choices of its matriarch, which that just sounds spectacular. I'm telling you, I'm just feeling the vibes on all these books I'm picking up. Then we also picked up at the bookstore the other day, Severance by Ling Ma. I've heard Noelle Reeds talk about this book. I think someone else talked about this, but this is another pandemic book. This one is about Candace Chen, who's first generation American, recent orphan, loves going to work. But then she barely notices when Shen fever sweeps New York and families flee, companies seize operation. She's in a ghost town. Eventually she will have to escape from Manhattan, enter a group of survivors led by a power-hungry IT specialist named Bob. They're traveling to a place called the Facility where he promises they'll have everything to need to start society anew, but she's guarding a secret he will certainly exploit. Will her rescuers end up becoming her captors? So this is a pandemic book. I was definitely thinking of maybe doing a like pandemic-y inspired, I don't know, book, I guess like vlog, but then I kind of thought that that would be kind of morbid and like sad, but I don't know. I might still do it. I'm considering it. Okay, but anyway, I don't know. This one just looked interesting. Okay, up next, let's do fantasy. I didn't grab that many fantasy, but I got some. So I got Vengeful by V.E. Schwab, which is the sequel to Vicious. Do I own Vicious? No. Should I have bought the sequel? No. Also, if you hear that water, that is my husband taking a bath. He said I wouldn't be able to hear it. But you know what? I hear it. Okay, anyway. The reason I picked this up is because I was looking through it. That's her signature. She signed it. She signed the book. Someone gave up a signed copy of the book. So you know what? I grabbed it because I've heard Vicious is fantastic and I'm sure Vengeful is going to be. And it was only $6 for this. So I picked this up and I'm going to hopefully pick up Vicious at some later point. But yeah, had to do it. It's signed. Then I picked up Red Rising by Pierce Brown because I know Booked and Busy, Erin has talked about this. This is one of her favorite books. At least I'm pretty sure. And I've heard this is a beloved fantasy book amongst many nations. My mom's at least heard of it, so that's something, because she's not really big into fantasy. But yeah, this one says, his wife taken, his people enslaved, driven by a longing for justice and the memory of lost love, Daryl will stop at nothing to bring down his enemies, even if he must become one of them to do so. For the first time, Red will rise. Can't wait. Then this one is an ARC, but I wanted it. It was very cheap, so hopefully it's like an actual finished copy. Strange the Dreamer by Laini Taylor. I've been wanting this for a hot minute. I'm very excited about this. It's the story of the aftermath of a war between gods and men, a mysterious city stripped of his name, a mythic hero with blood on his hands, a young librarian with a singular dream, a girl every bit as dangerous as she is in danger, alchemy and blood candy, nightmares and godspawn, moths and monsters, friendship and treachery, love and carnage. Welcome to Weep. That's what it says. So, sounds like a good time. And it is the perfect floppy paperback. Like, oh my gosh. I love that. And then in the steal of the deal for about $15, I got A Discovery of Witches Book 1, Shadow of Night Book 2, and The Book of Life Book 3. They're not like in the best condition I've ever seen. I mean, look, like this one has probably had the worst for wear, but they're not in terrible condition. Like they're not falling apart. Like honestly, probably one person turned these all in together and I got them. And I am excited. I was trying to collect them in hardcover, and I do have the first one in hardcover, and the other thrift store in my town had the third one in hardcover as well, but it didn't have the second, and I was like, yeah, I could just buy the third, but I didn't. But then these were all just sitting there, so I figure I'll sell my first one on Pango Books. I'll link my Pango down below if you want it. And I got all three all together, so that was really awesome. I can't wait to read this. This has been on my list for a hot minute. I'm hoping to start this soon. But I'm also reading a crap ton of witchy books in October. Like basically my entire TBR is witch themed. So I might just read it then. I don't know yet. Up next is romance. We'll start with like not dark romance and then dark smutty romance. Okay. They had a buy two get one free sale at Books A Million on my birthday and today. So the two books that I bought together were forever interrupted and After I Do by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I do kind of wish I had the old covers because like all the other Taylor Jenkins Reid books that I have the old cover editions, but it's whatever. Anyway, Forever Interrupted is about Elsie Porter, and on a rainy New Year's Day, she heads out to pick up a pizza for one. She's not expecting to see anyone else in the shop, much less Ben Ross. Their chemistry is instant and electric. He can't wait 24 hours before asking to see her again, and then within weeks, they're head over heels in love, and they've eloped. Only 9 days later, he's hit by his truck and killed on impact, and there she must face Susan, the mother-in-law she's never met, who doesn't even knew that Elsie exists. So, that sounds really exciting. I mean, not exciting, but like, I want to read it. And then After I Do is Lauren and Ryan's marriage reaches a breaking point. They come up with a plan to take a year off in the hope of finding a way to fall in love again. They cannot contact each other. Aside from that, anything goes. She embarks on a journey of self-discovery, and the challenges of living apart. She learns all this stuff from Ryan, begins to change her ideas about monogamy and marriage. She starts to question, when you can have romance without fidelity and commitment without marriage, when love and lust are no longer tied together, what do you value? What are you willing to fight for? So these books sound really good. Honestly, I feel like this one sounds a little bit more exciting to me. Yeah, I'm very excited to read both of those. And then I did get one more sequel before the first book because I've really wanted the first book and I knew I was going to collect this series at some point. And this was like $4, so I had to get it. The Resurrection of Wildflowers by Michaela Smeltzer. I have been very excited to read this. The first one is The Confidence of Wildflowers, and I'm going to still read that. It's a cute little duology, but I really, really wanted this, and it was there, and they didn't have the first one, so I went for it. I very rarely will buy sequels or trilogies first if I know that I don't have the other ones. But it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. And then these are, the next one is one that my sister bought me for my birthday, and it is The Fine Print by Lauren Asher. It is part of the Dreamland Billionaires series. I've heard the first one is not very good, and the second one is better where it's at. I know Chandler Ainsley just did a video where she read this, and so I'm gonna like reflect back on what she said. But this is like about like a Disney like billionaire-ish like dark romance. And yeah, that's all I gotta say on that. Then my mom got me Exodus by Kate Stewart, which is the sequel to Flock in the Ravenhood series by Kate Stewart. This is a trilogy. I can't wait to get to this very soon. I've been wanting to read this for a hot minute, so hopefully this will like put a fire in me to read it sooner than later because I have 2 of the 3 books now. Then I also got the first book in the like Never After series, Hooked by Emily McIntyre. I know she also has Scarred, which is like a Lion King Loki retelling. And then there's one more, I think it's a Wicked Witch retelling. I can't remember what it's called. Cursed, maybe, or something like that. But this is the Peter Pan one, obviously. Yeah, this one sounds good. Once upon a time, there was a little boy, his belly full of laughter, his life full of joy, until one day something changed, stripped his innocence away, the hole inside making space for the devil to come and play. His dreams gone forever, he grew up way too fast. An endless night of crocodiles and watches made of glass. He grew into a villain, the taste of vengeance on his tongue, craving to make his enemies pay for the misdeeds they had done. Instead, he found a darling girl and refused to let her go. For what better way to make the man pay than to steal his little shadow? I didn't realize that was going to rhyme until I was already reading it. But there you go. And then we got my mom got me There Are No Saints by Sophie Lark. This is, I'm pretty sure, about 2 serial killers that are dating each other, and they either don't know each other or serial killers, or they do, and they're just serial killer, like a couple. I don't really know. But I was really excited to read this. I'm also excited because it has a little, what is it called? A playlist at the beginning that you can listen to while you're doing that. Although I can't really listen to music while I'm reading, especially if I want to listen to the song for the first time. Like, I can't listen to music and do that at the same time. So I'll probably listen to the playlist after the fact. But yeah, this is a duology, and I'm sure I'm going to want the rest of it later. And I'm really excited because I've been wanting to read Sophie Lark, and so this will be like my first venture into her. Then I finally got the first book in the Zodiac Academy by Caroline Peckham and Susan Valenti. I am so excited to read this series, but I went on TikTok last night because I know that there's like books like 1 through 8 or whatever, but then there's also like 0.5 and 3.5 that like go in between certain series. And so I went on TikTok to see what order you should read these in, and someone else said that there are also like 2 other series that are in the same world. And so there's like 20 books that I have to read for this series, and am I ready to make that commitment? I don't know, but I do know I'm very excited to read this. But yeah, this one, I don't know, it says, I'm a Gemini, impulsive, curious, headstrong, a twin, heir to a throne I know nothing about. It turns out I'm Fae, but there's a catch. All I have to do to claim my birthright is prove I'm the most powerful supernatural in the whole world of Solaria, and sure, technically that's true as I'm the daughter of the Savage King, but what they didn't put in the brochure was that every single Fae in this kingdom would claim my throne if they could. My biggest problem is the drool-worthy dragon shifter who has his eyes on my throne. He and his 3 psycho friends are determined to make my time here hell. All I've got to do is survive, but fate might have other ideas. And then I love this. Damn it. Why couldn't I have gotten a letter to Hogwarts? I don't know, but I can't wait to get to this. Like, I really want to start this soon. And then my last dark romance is The Predator, The Dark Verse, Book 1 by Rue Nix. I'm very excited to read this. I also have her book, Gothicana, which I just ordered the hardcover, like, special edition. Can't wait for that one. But anyway, this is the first one in a 5-book series. My friend Chanel from Nell's Novels recommended this, and so I'm very, very excited to read this very, very soon. But yeah, that's in the book haul. And then we're ending this vlog with my thriller stack, which is by far my biggest stack because, like I said, thriller is my favorite jam. So let's get started. From Target, I had a little gift card. I got The Island by Adrian McKinty. I also recently acquired his book, The Chain, which came out a couple years prior, and I haven't read that yet. But this one, I think, is about a small town. I think they end up, like, going on vacation with their family, and, like, the vacation goes horribly wrong on an island. I've heard this is Ashley Little Library's favorite book of the year. However, she's very much into the trashy, like, not trashy, like the, I don't know, the super crazy, like, non-believable, like, just out there for a wild time type of reads, and I'm not always impressed by those. Like, I really needed to be logical and, like, I don't know, like, you know what I mean? Anyway, I'm still very excited to read this, and it's going to be an original series soon on Hulu, so that's saying something. Then we have Still House Lake by Rachel Kane. I was really excited when I saw this because a bunch of us, I think, are going to probably be buddy reading this for Haley Hughes Book Club. Like, we're not reading it for the book club because it didn't win. It was a vote for this month, but a lot of us wanted to read it anyway. And this one has a series, though. I think like 8 or 9. I think the series was completed before the author passed away, though, so that's good. And this one says, the killing didn't stop when they caught her husband. And so I'm just excited to see what happens there. But yeah, this one, super, super excited. Then I also picked up from Target We Were Never Here by Andrea Bartz. I have seen this one a lot all around, and I just kept avoiding it because I was like, I don't need it. It's probably not that great. Like, it just looks like another standard thriller. However, Haley Hughes, who is like my book guru queen, read it recently and said she absolutely loved it. And so when she tells you to buy something, you just kind of buy it. And so I'm very excited about this. I know that what happens is, like, these 2 girls are on vacation, and one of them says that she needs help burying someone because this cute backpacker that she brought to their room attacked her, and she had no choice but to kill him in self-defense. So she's trying to help her cover it up, but then she's also realizing, like, maybe my friend is just a murderer because this happened on our last vacation, and so, like, what do I do? It actually does have an interesting premise, so I'm excited. Then this one I've been wanting to read for a hot minute. Everybody and their mom is reading this. It's an anticipated new thriller, and it is Just Like Mother by Anne Heltzel. I mean, just look at this cover. Like, it's stunning. Like, the snake eyes, like, I'm all about it. This one just looks creepy. I don't like the main character's name, though. Maeve. That's not a good idea. Yeah, this one has a long description, so I'm not going to read through it. But, I don't know. This one, it says set to be one of the year's most talked about books by Andrea Bartz. We Were Never Here. How did I even know that was going to happen and that they should have been introduced back to back? Yeah, this just spoke to me. And that's all we got to say on that. Then another that I've only seen one person talk about, and I'm pretty sure it was Katie Colson who was talking about it, and she absolutely loved it, and I haven't heard anyone else talk about it since, but I saw it on the bookshelf and I had to get it. The First Day of Spring by Nancy Tucker. This is a thriller about Chrissy. She's 8 and she has a secret. She just killed a boy. The feeling made her belly fizz like soda pop. Her playmates are tearful. Their mothers are terrified, keeping them locked indoors. But she rules the roost. She's the best at wall walking. She knows how to get free candy. And now she has a feeling of power that she never gets at home. 20 years later, she's living and hiding under a changed name. All she wants is for her daughter to have the childhood she was denied. That's why the threatening phone calls are so terrifying. People are looking for them. The past is catching up. And Chrissy fears losing the only thing in the world she cares about, her child. That sounds very intriguing to me. I definitely am going to bump this up the list because I've been wanting to read this for a hot second. So I'm excited. Then we have a cute little novella called We Need to Do Something by Max Booth III. I do know that they made this into a movie either on Netflix or Hulu, and I plan on watching that after this. I've heard the movie's not that great, but I've heard this novella is fantastic. It's about a family that's already on the verge of self-destruction, and they find themselves isolated in their bathroom during a tornado warning. So, of course, some crazy, I think, paranormal stuff is going to happen to them. But this book is only 160 pages, so I could probably read this in like a sitting. And I probably plan to very, very soon. All right, then Gabby just talked about this book in her Stranger Things video, and I happened to go to the bookstore, and it was there. It was only a 3 or a 3.5 star for her, but the vibes, I think she said, was 5 star for Stranger Things, and that's Sawkill Girls by Claire Legrand. I don't know. I really like this cover with the moss and all the things. It just says it's about 3 girls, Marion, Zoe, and Val, the Sawkill Girls. Their stories come together on the island of Sawkill Rock, where gleaming horses graze in rolling pastures and cold waves crash against black cliffs, where kids whisper the legend of an insidious monster at parties and around campfires, where girls have been disappearing for decades, stolen away by a ravenous evil that no one has dared to fight until now. So I'm just saying, I'm living for this. Then, because I'm trying to collect every single Lisa Jewell book, and because this is the book that I got for free from the Buy Two Get One Free at Books A Million, I got The Truth About Melody Brown by Lisa Jewell. I am slowly but surely making my way through collecting all of her books so that I can binge read them, because Lisa Jewell is a favorite author of mine. I've read 2 of her books so far and absolutely loved it. And so this one is just another one of the riveting story of a woman whose life is turned upside down by the discovery of her long buried past. I mean, like, I'm not going to elaborate further. But yeah. This one's not super long. It's about less than 300 pages, so I'll hopefully get to it soon. Then the next one is probably the book that I wanted the most. I've been wanting it for months, and I just haven't bought it for myself, and my mom finally bought it for me, and I'm ready to do an entire vlog on just this alone for McKay and Haley and Ashley from Dumb Blonde Books, Survivor by J.F. Gonzalez. I am very scared to read this. It is extreme horror, and I don't know if I can take it, but I'm going to try. So this one is about Lisa. They were going to have a romantic getaway with their husband and tell them that they're going to have a baby, but instead her husband is arrested while they're on the road, and she is kidnapped. But the kidnappers aren't asking for a ransom. They want her, and they're going to make her a star in a snuff film. And what they have in mind for her is unspeakable. They're going to plan to torture her, murder her as graphically and brutally as possible, and to capture it on film. And it says, but even more horrifying is what she's going to have to do to survive. I don't know if I can get through this or not. I really want to. I don't know. I've just heard that this gets intense. I mean, look at the cover alone. Like, that's intense. But I'm going to try it for myself, and we will see. One of my lovely Instagram friends, Books and Libraries with Tessa, so I believe Tessa, oh my gosh, if I said it wrong or I messed up because I'm not looking at it right now, I apologize. She got me one of my books off of my Amazon wish list because of me having COVID, and that was Jar of Hearts by Jennifer Hillier, and I'm so excited to read this. I've been wanting to read this for a minute. I will say, Kayla ruined this on one of her live streams a couple of months ago, but I've already forgotten what she said because I wasn't listening too intently because I wanted to read this, and she hated this. But that doesn't surprise me because Kayla doesn't love a lot of books that I enjoy, but sometimes we like match. But one of her favorite books is My Heart is a Chainsaw, and that one's garbage, so I have to take her recommendations with a grain of salt, but I cannot wait to read this. Then I got from the thrift store Good Girls Lie by J.T. Ellison. I've been wanting to get into J.T. Ellison, and I don't know, I saw this and thought it might be good. I know it's an older one. I don't really know much about this. I'm kind of going in blind on this, and I'm not really sure if J.T. Ellison, if her thrillers are going to work for me or not, but I figure I'll always give a thriller author a try, and then if I don't exactly love them, I might try one more time, and then I'll move on from them. Then I've been avoiding getting this book for a while. I started watching the show, and then I didn't finish the show, and I need to finish because it was really good, and I want to know what happens. But I've heard the book is like perfect Southern, like, you know, drama and stuff. And that is Big Little Lies by Leanne Moriarty. I've been wanting this for a minute, so I just need to read it. It says, a murder, a tragic accident, or just parents behaving badly. What's indisputable is that someone is dead, but who did what? And so I just can't wait to read this. Like I said, the series looked really good. I mean, it had, who did it have? Nicole Kidman, was it? And Reese Witherspoon and a couple other people. And I'm just blanking. It had a couple of like really powerful celebrities in it, so I definitely want to read it, or see the rest of it too. But yeah, the book just looks very appealing. And then the last 3 books on my list, I have If I Disappear by Eliza Jane Brazier. I got this even though it has not had the most spectacular reviews because I wanted to see for myself and the cover looked very interesting. And this one does have about when her favorite true crime podcast host goes missing, an adrift young woman sets out to investigate and plunges headfirst into the wild backcountry of Northern California and her own dangerous obsession. I mean, the podcast thing was the thing that made it appealing to me. And I've heard this book is just really, really good and then has a flat ending. So I'm like, maybe I can still appreciate it. I don't know. If you don't think I should read this, obviously, let me know. And then the last 2 that I picked up, I got The Shadows by Alex North, which is exciting because I also have Whisper Man by him. I plan on doing some joint vlog where I read his books at some point. But this one is just saying Charlie Crabtree, everyone knows a teenager like Charlie Crabtree, a dark imagination, a sinister smile, always on the outside of the group. Some of you might suspect that he might be capable of doing something awful. 25 years ago, he did, committing a murder so shocking it's attracted that strange kind of infamy that only exists on the darkest corners of the internet and has inspired more than one copycat. Paul Adams remembers it all too well. Crabtree and his victim were Paul's friends. He slowly put his life back together, but now his mother, old and suffering from dementia, has taken a turn for the worse, and it's time for him to come home. It's not long before things start to go wrong, and he learns that Detective Amanda Beck is investigating another copycat that is struck in the nearby town where his mother is. His mother is distressed and his mother says that there's something in the house and someone is following him, which reminds him of the most unsettling thing about that awful day 25 years ago. It wasn't just the murder, it was the fact that Charlie Crabtree was never seen again after that murder. And so I assume he's back doing more murdery stuff. Sounds really exciting. And then the last one that I picked up was Chasing the Boogeyman by Richard Kismar. I was going to read this in October of last year and ended up not getting to it, so hopefully I will get to it this year. But yeah, this one just says it's the indescribably bad, hovering above all those wonderful memories like an angry slate gray thunder. No, I'm not going to read that. This one, I believe, is kind of like Boogeyman based, but I heard that people thought this was historically I guess true, and then it wasn't. I'm not entirely sure what this one is about. But I've heard that it's supposed to be psychological horror and true crime combined, and people were like, I don't really see that. So I don't know, but it was cheap, and so I figured, why not get it? It looked good. And so there you have it. Here are all of my many stacks of books. If you think there is one book in specific that I should read sooner than later, let a girl know. Drop it down below. Let me know what sort of books I should be reading, like I said, sooner than later, or ones that you're like, hey, you can get rid of that. Although I will say the one that I'm most excited to read that I'm probably going to start within the next day or 2 is Survivor by J.F. Gonzalez. I just need to know if I can do it. I need to know. So it's how many pages? 283. I can get through 283 pages. I can do it. I can do it. I can do it. I can do it. So I'm just going to do it. All right. But that concludes this vlog. Hope you liked all my birthday books. And I'll see you in a video very soon.